The cease and desist letter was a real thing.
Cease and desist on the light there, breaker.
A cease and desist is for hoes.
White people get really hype at Kendrick songs.
Is me. I'm the white person. Kendrick Lamar allegedly said that there's a cease and desist on Like That, and it's been driving me crazy. Drake kinda refuted it, but like, did he?
Diss me, now you gotta kiss
like,
me.
I can't stop thinking about it. Specifically, the cease and desist part. I worked in the Air Force as a journalist, and I have a background of film and TV. So I thought I could share some of my expertise with you. Without further ado, I am Moxie, and this is Heavy Speculation. Let me just start off by saying that this is not in my normal wheelhouse of content. Like, I normally do video game lore. I'm kind of like a researcher. Like, every time I start to try and write a different script, like I'm working on a completely different script right now for Stormville Castle, and like, I just can't stop thinking about it. Like, I can't. I mean, like, seriously, who hasn't been completely distracted by what's going on right now? Historical, even, you know? I feel like we're gonna be talking about this for a long time. The artistry, mainly, you know, they're both artists have really good tracks. I'm more biased because I'm a Kendrick fan, okay? Like, I haven't really liked Drake since, 2018, when the Millie Bobby Brown accusations came out. So, since then...
We just texted each other the other day, and he was like, I miss you so much.
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys. He helps me.
What?
Yeah. He's great. He's wonderful. I love him.
What's his advice with boys?
You know, that stays in the text messages.
I do not go out of my way to listen to him. I don't like him as a person. I haven't liked him since those texts with Millie Bobby Brown came out. I just thought they were really inappropriate, personally. So like I was saying, when I was looking into the situation, like the record labels, who belongs to who, you know, who owns what. So I kept like Googling, and there's no comprehensive video breakdowns of this situation that's going on right here, right now. And so I wanted to make one, mainly because I couldn't find one myself. So like, who are these artists allegedly signed to? Who actually works for who? What is going on here? Who's cease and desisting who? Who's sending these emails? There's emails. There's some dirt for legal purposes. Obviously, I am not a lawyer. I am a YouTuber. Anything that I am sharing from publicly available sources that will be listed in the description below. And this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay? Okay. Everybody's on the same page here. It is heavy speculation after all. Normally someone will license the distribution rights for their work. That includes like movies, we're talking songs, any body of work. Like, I mean, even artists like actual traditional artists will license their art out to museums for a period of time, right? So you have the period of time that is attached. You have the copyright holder, and anybody who's allowed to use that copyright is usually listed beyond that with like either commas, ands, withs, or periods. But the first person that's listed is the owner. Obviously, copyright applies to any body of work that is copyrightable. That can be anything from like a trademark to a patent to, you know, any of these intellectual properties. And so if someone infringes on these rights, then the first step that's even taken by a lawyer, or in any situation, is typically just to send a cease and desist. I've had to do this myself. One time I did an art exhibit, and I had a painting that another person was doing an interview in front of, and it definitely made it come off like it was their painting, and it was just like, I had never done that before, so I had to be like, cease and desist, please. Kind of looks like they're taking credit for my work. I don't like it. So you can choose what your body of work appears in. So it kind of gives you protection of how your work is shown. Now, a cease and desist letter is a document sent by the holder of the intellectual property right, such as a copyrighted work, a trademark, a patent, may send the cease and desist letter to inform the third party is committing an unlawful act, such as copyright infringement, and that they will take legal action if the other party continues this alleged unlawful activity. So basically, it's a warning letter. It's telling the other person to stop doing what you're doing. And it is a threat. It is a legal threat. Now, most of the time, it means if you do not stop doing what you're doing, I will sue you. So these letters can be abused, because you can send a cease and desist to anyone. I could send one to my husband. I could send one to my friend Banoon, for using my camera shot in her recent video, for instance. And she would have to comply because technically I do hold that copyright, right? Not that I'm gonna do that, obviously, but these are examples of how to use that. Drake himself has misused the cease and desist letter in the past. I mean, not just once either. These letters are frequently utilized in disputes concerning intellectual property and represent an important feature of intellectual property law and landscape. Double-edged sword, though, because it can be a good thing because it can protect the artist from, like I said, appearing in something that they don't want to appear in. You can choose to not have your art appear like that, but you have to have the legal ability to back it up, right? It can hurt people who are following the laws, though, surrounding fair use as well, because in fair use, for instance, if someone sends a cease and desist, you kind of, you have to respond to it, typically. You would respond and try to litigate it and be like, hey, and they have a certain amount of time to respond back to you, right? I think it's 30 days. There's two sides to it, so it can work in your advantage and it can work as a disadvantage, if you feel me. The most recent example being that Drake was sent a cease and desist for tailor-made freestyle by the Tupac estate, and here we go. Quote, "The estate is deeply dismayed and disappointed by your unauthorized use of Tupac's voice and personality. Not only is the record a flagrant violation of Tupac's publicity and the estate's legal rights, it is also a blatant abuse of the legacy of one of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time. The estate would never have given its approval for use."
Skill issue.
It's a skating. I don't know what he was thinking. It's wild. Cease and desist letters are sometimes often used to intimidate the recipients, an effective tool by corporations to chill the critical speech in the gripe sites operators, or in this case, diss tracks. Drake has a history of sending these unjustified cease and desist letters. Drake also sent French Montana a cease and desist.
My question was doesn't pick a side or anything. The cease and desist letter was a real thing. I thought that was really funny in January. But other than that, I got no dog in this race, man.
But I don't know why. Why would I send my friend a cease and desist on a mixtape? That was mad.
We all have different senses of humor. You know what I mean? I thought it was funny. I don't think anybody was really trying to be nefarious.
Luckily, French Montana took it pretty good. But the people on this podcast are clearly
we all have different senses of humor. You know what I mean? I thought it was funny. I don't think anybody was.
That's crazy. That's kind of people don't do that. It's not a funny prank. It's not really funny. Because it's not. It's a very serious, it's not something to be abused. Because it's scary, especially for content creators. And this Reddit user brought up the Drake famed NBA YoungBoy and Setup X.
The song Splash Brothers. It's been speculated by fans that the song Splash Brothers, called the Cease and Desist letter, French's track was set to feature Drake alongside Ross and was supposed to arrive on French's They Got Amnesia project back in 2021.
Right.
TMZ reported that the song was great because Drake was upset by the recent Astroworld tragedy but this was never confirmed. The song was later slated to appear on French's 2024 project, Mac and Cheese 5. However, Lil Wayne ended up replacing Drake on the final song. So
now, since records are like collaborative in nature, copyright rights have to be broken down step by step because it's there's sentences to it and there's levels to this shit. Now, the first sentence establishes the basic principle of the copyright and the individual contribution of the copyright in the collective work as a whole and separate and distinct, that the author of the contribution is, as in every other case, the first owner of the copyright in it. So now the first sentence, everyone that you list in there is an equal. So in this case, it is a copywritten thing. So there's like different symbols for stuff. Sometimes it says fair use. Sometimes it says it's not fair use. Sometimes it's like limited use, and sometimes it's copywritten. So if it's copywritten, typically you can't just use it. You have to get permission from the copyright holder. If two names are separated by the word and with no comma, then they are equals, right? So these are equals. Like that posted March 22nd, 2024, and the posting of this work makes it automatically copywritten. So for the Freebandz Entertainment doing business as Wilbur Holdings Company, who is Future and Boominati, they equally own the song. And the second sentence of section 201C is in conjunction with the provisions of the section 404 dealing with copyright notice, will preserve the author's copyright and contribution, even if the contribution does not bear a separate notice in the author's name and without requiring any unqualified transfer of rights to the owner or the collective work. So under the exclusive license of Epic Records, a division of Sony Music Entertainment, that means that the song is being exclusively licensed to, not everybody knows this, so like bear with me. The song is being exclusively licensed to Epic Records, and Epic Records is a division of the Sony Music Entertainment, so they distribute the music through that avenue, right? So that's how it gets out of Spotify. Right, basics of the music industry. Anyway, under exclusive license, i.e. Epic Records, a division of Sony Music Entertainment. So Sony Music Entertainment is the second largest of the big three record companies behind Universal Music Group and followed by Warner Music Group. So interesting note, right? The exclusive license allows a licensor to share the intellectual property with the licensee for a specific period of time, and that usually binds the licensor to not share the property with anyone else. So, at the same time, the last clause is a subsection under which the privilege of the republishing the contribution under the certain limited circumstances would be presumed and is the essential counterpart of the basic presumption. This is again from the .gov website. Now, with Republic of Records, that's a UMG Records, that's UMG Records Incorporated. Republic Records is Universal, right? Right. And then Drake makes music under his own Canadian label, OVO, right? Right. So OVO distributes their music through Sony Music and Republic Records. Republic Records, right? UMG. Right? Right. Okay. The email that Metro Boomin posted, and there's a second screenshot that came from, I guess, a Discord, a private Discord, is allegedly where it came from. Not exactly sure. However, they look to be different screenshots. Maybe? It could be the same one though. I really don't know. Because there's different parts of it blanked out. Obviously, here's the side by side, and you can see there's different parts of it blanked out, so you can kind of put the pieces together. Now, this email is to Becca Connolly, which is an A&R of Epic Records, which is under Sony Music Entertainment, right? I had to look this up because I didn't know. Artist and Repertoire is a division of the record label or the music publishing company that is responsible for scouting and overseeing the artist development of records, artists, or songwriters. It also acts as a liaison between the artists and the record labels or publishing company, right? So Corey Williams is the person who sent this email. He's the vice president, business and legal affairs, rights clearances for Republic Records. This is all public. Like, they have to, in their shareholder reports, you know what I'm saying? They have to post who's like in the hierarchy, who's in the leadership structure. This is part of the stuff that the companies have to publish. So Corey Williams is the vice president, business of legal affairs, rights and clearances for Republic Records and Def Jam Records and Island Records, which is under Universal Music Group, right? UMG, right? He started his music career at Sony Music. So there's some deep lore for you. That Corey Williams started at Sony Music as a audio assistant engineer. And then he joined UMG in 2015 as the director of business and legal affairs and quickly promoted to the senior director in business and legal affairs. So he's been in the business for a long time. Mad respect. Metro Boomin and Drake are both under Republic Records as well. So, you see where I'm going with this? Drake distributes his music under Republic Records. Remember? So Metro Boomin also distributes his records under Republic Records. So, like, did they... Look, man, I don't want to ask, but, like, did they copyright strike the... Did they send a cease and desist to the, I mean, because they're the ones with the exclusive rights, so they own the rights, like, right? So it's, someone clarify this if I'm wrong. I am sharing what's publicly available, right? So the song is owned by Wilburn Holdings Company, so it's first, I think it would technically be, yeah, because it's out of order alphabetically. So it would definitely be Future, who owns the track, right? Is under Epic Records, which is Sony. Yeah, I'm mad confused. So Sony does own it, right? Sony, so it'd be Future that owns it under Sony, but he works with Metro Boomin, who is the next copyright holder, who is also under Republic Records with Drake. Deep lore here. I told you it's interesting, right? Because I didn't know these things. I don't know the deeper intricacies of the lore of different company structures. So, you know, I didn't know who was signed to who, and I was kind of curious about this whenever all this cease and desist controversy came up. But there's also this Reddit user from... There was also this Reddit user, 22 people, that noted it does reference a conversation from a week prior. They're responding to someone else's comment that says the email is from April 1st and the album is already dropped on March 22nd. But it does reference a conversation from last week, and I think that it's possible that Republic held back its rights on the release day, and that this is a response to Epic saying something to the effect of, hey, the song is #1 in the country right now, and if we can't put this on the radio, it's really gonna cost us a lot of money. And then there was this screenshot posted that was allegedly in a private Discord and got circulated around Twitter a lot. Now it says, currently waiting for proof, take this with a grain of salt. Until then, but from an insider waiting on proof in the form of documents and will update whenever I receive it. PG Lang, Kendrick, and XO The Weeknd, as of yesterday, were asked by Universal Music Group to end the beef with OVO Drake. Kendrick apparently isn't budging at all, but UMG is pressing hard on their request to squash the beef. UMG also had a Zoom meeting with all of the parties involved, and they want Kendrick either to directly or said through PG Lang to post a statement clarifying that Drake is not a pedophile. If Kendrick agrees to end the beef, the pedophilia accusations directed at Drake are costing UMG, Nike, and other parties a lot of money. Now, I don't know how true this is. I couldn't find the source. I was like, source. I reverse image searched it, and I just, it seems like it just got sent to a bunch of people and shared around, kind of at the same time, because they all started appearing at the same time. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on that much. I am checking Twitter to see if there has been any updates to anything. They have Metro grooming trending, but you know, what are you gonna say? But baby, I'll choose it. Baby,